Hey, Bitcamp. First things first, TLDR did not win. Second thing, had a really cool team. It was a three-person team at the end of the day. It wasn't before, but one of our members was sick. Three-person team. Um, I had two goals with this Bitcamp. But one was to win the Bitcamp with all hackathons. I have that goal, but second one was to really get the two other people on my team to really get introduced to hackathons and just agentic coding in general, right? Because this was their first or second time really doing stuff like that. First time definitely using agentic coding tools at such a high level. And with those being my two goals, obviously I didn't win the hackathon with the team, but the second goal I think was very much accomplished in that they not only had a great time at the hackathon, which I was really worried about, but they also really got a grasp of the coding tools. And just for context, the project we're working on was a 3D engine for a 3D teacher to basically teach any concept to a young child. So imagine you have like me, I'm a 3D character. I can create like these animations. I can create like a ball. I can create like math. Like I create animations for addition. I can create games to basically teach a 3D, not 3D child, a real child. Um, so basically a world model without being a world model. I've been doing like if you've noticed a lot of my projects have been like in that theme of replicating world models without really being a world model. That was what this was meant to be. The challenging part though was that you obviously have to have a teaching pipeline. You have to have a multi-agentic system. You have to have systems that allow the system to the AI to create games for the child to teach a concept. But really, the core idea I wanted to test was a motion diffusion model, and if it was possible to use it for this project to animate the 3D teacher to do dynamic poses so it can really come to life and be immersive for the child, because that's a really big thing with education and children. You have to make sure it's immersive. A motion diffusion model, just to do TLDR, is basically have like text to video, and you have that's like a whole diffusion process. But a motion diffusion model, you have text to a body rig. So if I was a body, I'm not going to animate this, but if I was a body rig, right, then you can have I have anchor points. So the whole idea is with a text prompt, I could give what the how the anchor points should move. The issue there is that it was a research paper, not really a production ready pipeline or whatever. So with it being a research paper, it was being built for a bunch of body rigs. So we had the issue that Mixamo is what we're using to give our 3D characters a body rig, but Mixamo has about like 64 body anchor points, and then the paper, the motion diffusion model paper, had on like 23. So it's a big issue in trying to translate that. And I'll talk about why that was a bigger issue in a second, but I want to say on my team's part, really, really great job because it was interesting. 'Cause I took on that part because I was the most familiar with like the concept in general. But with my team, the one person was working on the multi-agentic pipeline, and that person was working on like the website and the teaching stuff, and they both killed it. Like at first, the system was really just like, hey, they use my tools. So, like since they had no agentic coding tools or whatever, I gave them my codex, I gave them my anti-gravity, I gave them a bunch of stuff so they can use that for the hackathon without having like pay too much. Because I did have subscriptions to those tools in itself. Um, and that being the case, what happened was at first I would like do something with like the tool, and then they get stuck and I help them. Then they do something, then they get stuck and I help them. But after like the first 3 to 5 hours, I want to say they really got good grabs. And like they were just being really, they were building very, very fast. And it was really interesting to me because I was really stuck with my problem. Because like they'll finish the website, then they'll finish the multi-check the pipe. I'm like, oh dang, I feel bad now because like this is something I still haven't figured out. And with the motion diffusion model, since it was a mapping of like a 23 anchor body rig to like a 64 body anchor body rig, there wasn't really a clean way to do a one-to-one, just like you're good to go. It's like you have to like you have to really fine tune it in a sense, and it was just take a bunch of time. Eventually, I don't even think we got it completed. I think we had to go through some alternate routes. I just didn't look that nice. I was really disappointed overall because if it had worked, it would have really great. It would be a very great experience for any child who used it. Could have really dynamic motions and animations, but it didn't work. And saying that though, I do think it was an interesting idea. I don't think I'm going to expand on it anytime soon. I think it's promising. Like even now, I have another hackathon coming up. Claude. So Anthropic hackathon. I was even thinking maybe I could use it, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's an interesting concept. Motion diffusion models. I think in the future, it does hold promise for cooler things. Like even like the whole 3D engine teacher thing. Uh, I could definitely see it being used there, but just for different stuff in general. Will be really, really fun. I don't know. I'm working on a project right now, an AID&D project. I was thinking, well, it'd be really cool if I could give like the NPCs, like I could power them through a motion efficient model, and that's how you can control them. So if you have like something like, oh, I do this random action as a player, these motion efficient models can actually allow for really interesting animations. But that's not gonna be the case. Well, maybe it'll be the case, but I just don't see it happen anytime soon. It's still a new paper. I want to say I think it came out in 2023, but I haven't really seen anyone expand on it. I thought I saw a paper this morning, but it was just more so for body creation. Also, just wanted to do a quick aside. For the 3D character creation, like I did a video about this, like I saw like the whole project, but like for the 3D character creation, there was a lot of tools, and all of them would say they're free, and then the last minute they wouldn't be free, and it really sucked. I was really scammy and everything, like scummy and all that. But then there was a really good tool, Tencent Hunyon 3D, free, open source. I don't think it's open source, but free, and give like 100 credits, and like it barely went down. Like you could do like 10 generations without the credits going down. I think I just want to give a shout out to that because I like that was like my favorite part of this because like I remember I was looking for a 3D generation thing. You spend like 10, 15 minutes using a tool, and they're like, oh, work's not free because you can't download it because you can't say you're free if you can't download the thing because like that means it's not free. Because why would I only want to have this 3D tool in this viewport or whatever? Um, we found this one really great experience. But yeah, I think it was an awesome time. I think my team had fun. I was really worried that they weren't gonna have fun because obviously my main goal was, hey, we're gonna win this hackathon. But they seemed to be on the same page about that overall. Just like even though if their main thing wasn't winning, it was more so like I really want to try building stand. They're really interested. So I think that's what allowed them to be able to adapt so quickly. Um and yeah, even big camp in general, I was really surprised. I was like, this is my first big camp experience because I transferred to UMD back in fall. But it was overall like a great hack also overall a really fun hackathon because usually with hackathons I think this is really competitive edge to it and it's really exciting with all these opportunities and stuff. But I think with Big Camp they also have that, but in addition to that they have a more fun vibe. Like there's these games that like they are really the core of the Big Camp, I want to say. And I think although I didn't participate in any of them because I'm very very cautious about the amount of time I have in a Big Camp or a hackathon, it was really fun to see people participate in them. I think in the future I may be even more tempted to participate in them. I probably won't, but I may be tempted. But man, it was a great time. Even the project. There's something I will say before I close off. From the hackathons I've been to recently, just to use NextHacks as a a reference point, I would personally say the projects I saw at Big Camp were more impressive and more novel than the ones I saw in NextHacks. And I think that was interesting because from what I heard in terms of like the people when they compare the 2D cycle, NextHacks is like bigger and it seemed bigger, had more sponsors, but a lot of the projects were very much you've seen them before. They can't be done. It's like, oh, you have like the AI exercise tool, like it takes a body weight or whatever. You just exercise, you have that and all that. Like these ones are stuff I haven't seen before. And maybe it's because I was very tired at the 24 hour. Like after playing off for 24, that I really didn't look into projects. Like from what I saw, like these are stuff I didn't even think of doing. And so stuff like, wow, okay, people really have some cool stuff here. So I think that's something I'm really curious about why that's the case. Maybe since because Netflix, I think I know had more people, so maybe it's like people just tend to converge. When it's more competitive, people are like less risky, right? Versus when it's less competitive, people are more want to take risks. Like this one, I would for next I don't think I would have done a motion diffusion model because I didn't have that much experience with it. Also, want to say the motion diffusion model theoretically could have worked if I had done my previous plan because my plan was to validate the idea like a week before, so I knew if this was going to work or if this wasn't going to work. But I didn't end up doing it. I just ended up doing it. But with next six, I wouldn't have done the idea. I would have been like, okay, I have to have something very, very concrete, like so even the dynamic game compiler that was validated many times before I went to hackathon. So maybe that's why. But who knows? Overall, had a great time. Happy my team had a great time, and I think it was just an overall great experience. But besides that, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.